Chosen one, listen carefully, this moment is not random. Heaven has aligned it so your heart can receive what your spirit already knows. You have been tested, and you did not fail. The storms, the silence, the tears, they were all divine instruments in the hands of your Creator. What you called suffering was actually sacred training. What felt like delay was heaven's design to make sure your roots were deep enough to carry destiny. You see, fire has never been your enemy. It was your proving ground. The Lord allowed certain people to walk away, not to wound you, but to free you from false attachments. He let doors close because not every open path was meant for your feet. You cried out, asking, "Why me?" But heaven was answering, "Because you are chosen." Only those with divine assignments face this kind of refining. There were nights when you felt as if God had gone silent, when the weight on your chest made it hard to breathe. You looked at others flourishing while you were fighting to stand. Yet even then, heaven took note of your endurance. You may not have seen angels, but they were there guarding, recording, strengthening you. Every tear you shed became a seed in the soil of glory. You thought you were breaking, but you were being reborn. The truth is, you didn't lose faith, you proved faith. While others doubted, you stayed. While others complained, you worshiped. While others gave up, you whispered, "Still, I will trust you." That whisper shook the gates of darkness. Every time you refused to quit, the enemy lost territory. Your perseverance became your prophecy. You have graduated from believing in miracles to becoming one. Understand this, your testing was not random pain. It was targeted preparation. Heaven never wastes suffering. God was sharpening your discernment, deepening your compassion, and teaching you how to hear His voice in the dark. The silence was not absence, it was instruction. The disappointment was not rejection, it was redirection. You thought the season was ending you, but it was actually endorsing you. Now heaven speaks you past. You remained faithful. You didn't compromise your integrity when shortcuts whispered your name. You didn't sell your peace for temporary comfort. You stayed anchored when the wind screamed your doubts back at you. That's why God is about to lift you. You are coming out of this fire carrying revelation, not residue. From this day forward, you will recognize that the very flames meant to destroy you have refined your authority. Your words now carry weight because they were forged in the furnace. Your worship will break chains because it was birthed in brokenness. You are a living testimony that divine testing is not punishment, it is proof of divine trust. And now, chosen one, heaven's record declares you approved. The time of stretching has ended, and the season of strength begins. You will no longer crawl through survival, you will rise in revival. Every unanswered prayer becomes a seed for miracles that will follow you. You are standing at the threshold of reward, the kind that only the tested can touch. As the apostle reminds us in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 13. God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tested beyond what you can bear. But when you are tested, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. Chosen one, if this message has reached your heart, that is your confirmation. Type 777 in the comments to seal your agreement with heaven. Like, share, and subscribe so that this word may reach another soul still walking through their own fire. The same God who carried you through will carry them too. Heaven watched in silence. Chosen one. When you thought no one saw you, when your heart broke beneath invisible weight, heaven leaned closer. The silence was not neglect, it was observation. Every moment you kept walking despite exhaustion, every prayer that escaped as a whisper, every act of kindness you offered when your own soul was bleeding, all of it was seen. The courts of heaven recorded not your perfection, but your persistence. You wondered, why won't God speak? Yet heaven's silence was never absence. It was orchestration. The teacher is often quiet during the test because the answers were already placed within you. You didn't realize it then, but heaven was measuring your heart's posture, not your circumstances. You were surrounded by witnesses, angels standing on the edge of eternity, holding their breath as you chose faith again and again. When you lifted your hands to worship through tears, the sound echoed through realms unseen. When you refused to curse the process, light rippled across dimensions. You were not walking alone. You were being watched by the one who called you. The heavens are not silent now, they are rejoicing because you have proven trustworthy. There is something sacred about that silence. It purifies motives, separates love from convenience, and reveals who truly seeks his face rather than his hand. You passed through that refining. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 11, verse 4. The Lord is in his holy temple, the Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids test the children of men. Those words have always been true, but you now live them. You understand what it means for heaven's eyes to study your faith, to weigh not your victories, but your endurance. Heaven watched as you continued to serve, though no applause followed. You chose character over comfort, obedience over validation, and that, more than miracles, delights the heart of God. Your hidden victories mattered more to heaven than any public success. The world may never see how you forgave in secret, how you stayed pure when temptation called your name, how you blessed those who cursed you, but heaven saw it all. Your life has become a sermon angels study. Every trial you endured whispered to creation that faith can survive the furnace. Every disappointment you overcame became a prophecy that light outlives darkness. Heaven didn't need to intervene because your endurance was already speaking on your behalf. You were not abandoned. You were being announced. The silence that once frightened you has now become your strength. You have learned to recognize God in the pause, to trust him in the delay, and to love him without immediate reward. This is the mark of the matured chosen one, the ability to rest even when heaven seems quiet. Because true faith is not built on noise but on knowing. Now the same silence that once tested you will begin to protect you. What once felt empty will now feel sacred. You'll no longer rush to fill the stillness with fear, because you understand that in stillness, heaven speaks the loudest. You will move forward with peace as your compass, no longer anxious for signs, for you have become one. Heaven has finished its observation. You have been found faithful. Heaven's eyes have watched, and now the silence breaks not with thunder but with approval. You were seen, chosen one. You were tested. You were trusted. Chosen one. The hidden hand of God has been guiding your steps even when your eyes could not see him. Every detour, every closed door, every delay that confused you, none of it was accidental. Heaven has been weaving purpose through what you mistook for chaos. The moments that felt like loss were actually divine redirection. The road you never planned to walk was the one heaven had chosen for your refinement. You thought you were left behind, but in truth you were being set apart. God often conceals his work behind the veil of confusion so that only the faithful remain. When everything you expected fell apart, the unseen hand of heaven was positioning you for something greater. You were never forgotten, you were being rerouted. There is divine precision behind every seeming setback. The truth is, God hides himself not to abandon but to align. He withdraws his visible hand so your faith can learn to walk on unseen foundations. The pauses in your story are not wasted time. They are sacred appointments where heaven rearranges what must change before you can advance. Every no from heaven protected you from something too small for your calling. Every door that shut was mercy wearing disguise. You prayed for quick answers, but God was preparing deep ones. You asked for speed, but He chose strength. You cried for understanding, but He gave you endurance first. For what you could not comprehend in the moment, heaven was writing with eternal ink. You didn't lose time, you gained preparation. You were being built in silence so you could stand in storms. Sometimes the divine hand pulls you back not to punish you, but to launch you. Like an arrow, you had to be drawn into tension before you could fly with precision. You've been in that sacred stretch, the backward pull that precedes acceleration. Every trial was a hand on your life, aiming you higher than you imagined. The ancient words recorded in the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verse 20, still echo today. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. What once looked like betrayal was actually preservation. What seemed like defeat was divine redirection. God took what others meant for evil and turned it into your training ground. You survived not because you were lucky, but because the hand of God refused to release you. You may not see it yet, but one day you will thank God for every delay that made you weep. You will realize that the things He withheld were never losses, they were lessons. Heaven's silence didn't mean never, it meant not yet. And now, that hidden hand is moving again, rearranging the path before you. Destiny is being unlocked in the exact place you thought was dead. Chosen one. Do not despise the unseen seasons. That's where roots grow. You've been learning to trust God's heart when His hand was invisible. Now you will witness how every invisible movement was guiding you toward visible breakthrough. The hand that hid you is the same hand now revealing you. You were not being overlooked. You were being prepared for divine unveiling. Soon, everything that once confused you will make sense. You will look back and realize that heaven was never late. It was deliberate. Every painful pause was a part of a greater rhythm. Every unanswered prayer a note in heaven's symphony of timing. You are stepping into the moment when the hidden becomes revealed, when heaven's silence turns into manifestation. Now, let your spirit rise and declare your faith. In this moment, type "God is working" in the comments, 3 simple words that declare your trust even when you cannot trace His hand. Write them as a prophetic act, a testimony that you now understand God's hidden hand has been guiding your entire journey. Because when you declare it, you align yourself with divine awareness. You're not waiting for a miracle. You are recognizing that the miracle has been moving all along, quietly, steadily, perfectly. The hidden hand that guided Joseph to Pharaoh's palace, Esther to the throne, and you through your wilderness has not stopped moving. Heaven is still writing your story, one silent miracle at a time. Every tear you shed, chosen one, carried a message straight to heaven. None of them vanished into nothingness. Each one was collected, weighed, and recorded, not as evidence of weakness, but as proof of faith. The world saw tears, but heaven saw worship. The nights you thought you were breaking beyond repair were sacred encounters where God was shaping your strength in secret. You were never crying alone. Every time you pressed your face into the pillow, trying to muffle the sound of pain, the Spirit of God leaned closer. Heaven does not waste sorrow. In the unseen realm, your tears became intercession. They spoke louder than words, reaching places your voice could never touch. What you thought was the end of your endurance was the beginning of divine remembrance. Do you know, chosen one, that every cry carries weight in eternity? There is no wasted emotion in the kingdom. Each sigh, each moment you whispered, "I can't take anymore," became a line written in heaven's record of your perseverance. The pain that felt endless was being transformed into spiritual currency, something heaven could multiply into favor. The psalmist once revealed this secret, and now you are living it. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. That verse is not just ancient poetry, it's your biography. The same God who counted David's tears has counted yours. Each drop is a testimony that your faith endured when hope seemed gone. The reason you had to cry was not to show defeat, but to cleanse your sight. Tears wash away what pride refuses to release. They clear the vision so you can see through heaven's eyes again. What once blurred your focus has become the lens of compassion. You now understand what pain feels like, and that empathy is your new strength. You were not hardened by sorrow, you were softened into wisdom. Some cried for attention, but your tears cried for alignment. They called heaven to act on your behalf, and heaven responded not with noise, but with quiet rearrangements. While you were wiping your face, angels were moving pieces of your destiny into position. You thought you were losing control, but you were simply surrendering to a divine choreography too complex to understand. Every season of weeping carried a purpose. Some tears watered dormant seeds of promise. Others washed away relationships that could not walk with you into your next chapter. You thought it was rejection. Heaven called it pruning. And now, after all the shedding, what remains is pure, resilient, and ready. You have learned that strength is not the absence of tears, but the decision to rise again after them. Even now, heaven remembers. The fragrance of your worship, mixed with sorrow, still lingers before the throne. It is a sweet aroma of endurance, a proof that your love for God was not dependent on circumstances. The angels saw your devotion, not your despair. You have earned heaven's respect not because you never fell apart, but because every time you did, you still turned your face toward the light. And soon, those tears will be translated into tangible blessings. The same eyes that watched you weep will watch you rejoice. You will look back and realize that nothing was wasted, not a single sob, not a single drop of pain. Every tear became a building block of your new season. The bottle that once held your sorrow is about to overflow with joy. Heaven has a perfect record. What you forgot in exhaustion, heaven remembered in love. What you buried in silence, heaven wrote in light. There is divine justice in every drop that fell, and it will manifest as restoration. The tears that once blurred your sight are now the ink heaven uses to write your testimony. Chosen one, you have cried enough for one lifetime, and heaven has counted it all. Your tears are now turning into doors. Where you once mourned, you will soon marvel. The God who collected your pain has already converted it into purpose. You are stepping into the harvest of everything you sowed in sorrow, and not one tear will be missing from the reward. Chosen one, you had to be broken before you could be built. There was no shortcut to strength, no smooth road to purpose. The cracks you tried to hide became the channels where heaven poured its oil. The collapse that embarrassed you was the blueprint for your reconstruction. God did not destroy you. He dismantled what could no longer carry his glory. Every breaking point in your life was a sacred hammer in the hands of the potter. The hands that formed galaxies also shaped your heart. He pressed, he molded, he allowed the pressure not to punish, but to perfect. The version of you that emerges after breaking is not fragile. It is forged. The voice that once trembled with fear will now carry authority because it has been baptized in pain. You once begged God to fix things, now you realize he was fixing you. You were never being undone, you were being redefined. Every crack allowed the light of heaven to shine through your humanity. It was necessary. Without the breaking, pride would have stayed. Without the shaking, the impurities would have remained hidden. The fracture was mercy in disguise. Think of the seed, chosen one. It must break before life can sprout. The shell must shatter so something greater can emerge. You, too, were planted deep in obscurity, buried by circumstances, pressed by time, but your breaking was not burial. It was birth. The soil of suffering became the womb of your transformation. The prophet Jeremiah once spoke through divine revelation, as it is written in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 18, verse 4. But the pot he was shaping from the clay was marred in his hands. So the potter formed it into another pot, shaping it as seemed best to him. You are that vessel, reshaped for divine purpose. What looked like failure was simply the potter changing design. The cracks did not disqualify you, they made room for glory. You see, heaven rebuilds differently. God does not restore you to who you were. He restores you into who you were meant to be. That is why some people couldn't stay. Why certain doors had to close. The blueprint changed. The foundation had to be broken so that what he's building now can withstand the weight of destiny. When you look at the ruins of your old life, don't weep anymore. Those ruins are the sacred ground where your new strength is being built. You are like a temple being rebuilt after fire, stronger, purer, glowing with divine purpose. The same places where you fell will soon become testimonies of resurrection. The enemy thought the breaking would end you, but heaven smiled. Because every time something breaks in the hands of God, it doesn't die, it multiplies. Broken bread feeds more. Broken alabaster releases fragrance. Broken hearts birth compassion. You are not less because of your cracks. You are more because heaven now flows through them. And as you rise, I want to speak to your heart not as a command, but as an invitation. If this message has touched something deep within you, if you recognize the fingerprints of God in your breaking, then let this be the moment you sow back into light, like a flame that multiplies when shared. Your simple act can keep this voice alive so that others, still shattered in silence, can find the same healing. You can like this message as a symbol of agreement. Share it so that another soul, trembling on the edge of giving up, can feel the warmth of hope again. Subscribe, not as a habit, but as a way of saying, I choose to stay connected to the light. And if your heart feels led, consider a small act of giving. Your offering becomes a seed that fuels the creation of more words that heal, more lights in the dark. It's not about money. It's about multiplication. The same way a single drop of rain awakens a desert, your support, your click, your share, your gift becomes part of heaven's echo. Together, we keep the fire burning for those still walking through their breaking, because just as your story mattered, so will theirs. Beloved chosen one, lift your head. What was once shattered is now sacred. What was lost is now alive. The potter's hands are not finished. They are revealing beauty through every fracture of your journey. And the world will soon see the masterpiece heaven has been crafting all along. Chosen one, you obeyed when obedience hurt. That is what separates the called from the chosen. You didn't just say yes when it was easy. You said yes when it cost you something precious. When following God meant walking away from comfort. When it meant silence instead of applause, you still chose to follow. That single act of obedience echoed louder in heaven than 1,000 sermons. Obedience is not proven in convenience. It is revealed in sacrifice. There were moments when every logical voice told you to give up, to go your own way, to take back control, but you didn't. You stood still. You waited when waiting felt like dying. You obeyed not because you understood, but because you trusted the one who called you. And heaven took note of that loyalty. Every command God gave you, every instruction that stretched your faith was never meant to break you, but to reveal your spiritual maturity. Obedience is heaven's language, and you have learned to speak it fluently through tears. There were things God asked you to release, people you loved, plans you had built, dreams you had carefully shaped. You let them go, not because you were weak, but because you knew His plan was better. The world saw loss, but heaven saw alignment. You laid your Isaac on the altar without knowing there was a ram waiting nearby. You didn't bargain. You believed. You didn't negotiate. You knelt. That's why you are now marked by heaven's approval, because obedience in pain produces authority and power. You must know this truth. Chosen one obedience always invites revelation. Every time you say yes to God, a new layer of destiny unfolds. The moments that felt like endings were actually doorways. You didn't see the reward at first, because obedience is always a seed sown in silence before it blooms in public. The ancient words speak clearly, as revealed in the book of Deuteronomy on chapter 28, verse 2. All these blessings will come upon you and overtake you if you obey the Lord your God. That verse is not a metaphor, it is a law written into creation. Blessings chase those who obey. You do not have to run after favor, it runs after you. The more you align, the faster it finds you. Your obedience was noticed. Heaven has already dispatched answers you didn't know you prayed for. You are about to witness divine acceleration because you chose surrender over struggle. What you released will return multiplied. What you let die will rise in a different form, stronger, purified, and unshakable. There were moments when you questioned whether your obedience even mattered. You wondered, was my sacrifice in vain? But heaven answers today, not one act of obedience goes unnoticed. Every unseen act, every time you forgave, every time you blessed those who hurt you, every time you stayed silent when your flesh wanted to speak was recorded in the eternal scroll. You have not lost by obeying. You have positioned yourself for inheritance. The hand that once held your offering is now open to receive reward. God is never indebted to those who trust Him. What you sowed in pain will return in joy. What you obeyed in darkness will bloom in light. Chosen one, this is the season when your obedience becomes your crown. You are no longer walking as a servant begging for direction, you are moving as a son, as a daughter, in divine synchronization. The voice that once tested you will now guide you with clarity. The weight you felt is lifting because obedience has unlocked grace. You will begin to notice that the path feels lighter, that peace follows you into every room. That is the sign of divine alignment. Heaven's favor now rests on your shoulders like a mantle. You no longer have to strive for it, it simply recognizes your scent, the fragrance of one who obeyed even in fire. And now, as a prophetic act, seal your faith in the comments by typing 888, the number of new beginnings, of resurrection, of what comes after surrender. When you type it, you are not just engaging a screen. You are declaring that your obedience has opened a new chapter. Let it be your statement to heaven: I have obeyed, and I am ready. For the same God who called you into the wilderness is now calling you into promise. Your obedience has built the bridge. Your surrender has set the stage. What comes next will not require striving, it will require stewardship. You have passed the test of obedience, and heaven is already applauding your faithfulness. Faith when the light dimmed, this was your truest test. Chosen one. Anyone can believe when everything is shining, when prayers are answered and doors swing open. But you believed in the shadows. You walked when the map disappeared, when promises seemed buried under silence. when all you could see was uncertainty. That is the kind of faith heaven crowns the faith that survives the night. There were moments you looked around and found no confirmation, no encouragement, no visible proof that God was still near. The light you once depended on faded, and the path ahead looked like nothing but fog. Yet something deep inside you whispered, "Keep walking." That whisper was not your strength. It was heaven breathing through your weakness. Even when your heart was trembling, your feet kept moving. That was worship. That was faith alive in the dark. Darkness is a language most do not understand. It speaks in silence, in questions, in delayed answers. But you learned its rhythm. You discovered that even when light disappears, the presence remains. You found God not in flashes of lightning, but in the quiet pulse of peace that refused to die inside you. You didn't see him, but you felt him. And that feeling was enough to keep you standing. When faith has no sight, it becomes pure. It detaches from outcomes and clings to essence. You didn't believe because of what you could receive, you believed because of who he is. That's the difference between faith that shines and faith that endures. Your trust was not a performance, it was a lifeline. The world calls it foolishness, but heaven calls it intimacy. You became like the sailors who navigate by stars they cannot touch. When the waves raged and the compass broke, you used hope as your direction. It wasn't that you never doubted. It was that your doubt never became your master. Faith is not the absence of questions, it is the decision to walk with them toward light. You didn't let despair have the final word. And for that, heaven took notice. There is a sacred mystery in darkness. It strips away the unnecessary. It silences distractions until the only sound left is the heartbeat of God. In that stillness, you learned that faith is not always loud. Sometimes it's a single breath saying, "I will not quit." Every time you whispered that, heaven heard thunder. Every quiet yes you offered in the dark became a pillar of light in the unseen realm. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, as recorded in the second book of Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7. "For we walk by faith, not by sight." Those words are not just instruction, they are the very fabric of your story. You have walked by faith when sight gave you no comfort, when logic gave you no anchor. You learned to rely on what cannot be explained, to trust in what cannot be touched. You didn't just pass through darkness, you carried light into it. That is why you are still here. The night tried to swallow you, but you became its illumination. Others may never know the battles you fought in silence. The nights you cried and still whispered prayers over your own doubt, but heaven does. That's why your survival is not ordinary, it's supernatural. And in that invisible endurance, something in you transformed. Your eyes have changed. You no longer need constant proof. You live by quiet conviction. You no longer chase signs. You are one. The dim seasons taught you to read heaven's language in ways the bright ones never could. You have learned to interpret silence as guidance and delay as design. Now faith has become your vision. Even when darkness presses in again, it will not intimidate you. You've already proven that faith doesn't need light to shine, it is its own source. You've learned to see through trust, to move through assurance that the unseen is more real than the visible. The dim light that once frightened you has become your friend, your sacred teacher. Chosen one, your walk through the dark will not be wasted. You've become a lighthouse for others who are still searching for direction. When they can't see, your endurance will remind them that light still lives inside them too. You no longer fear the night because you've discovered the secret faith glows brighter when sight is gone. And one day, when you look back on this chapter, you will realize that the darkness never won. It simply made you luminous. Demons knew your name long before people did. Chosen one. In the unseen realm, your endurance became a sound that hell could not silence. While you walked through seasons of hardship thinking you were small, the forces of darkness trembled because they recognized the mark upon you. Every time you refused to give up, light expanded in territories they once claimed. You didn't just survive, you disrupted. There are realms where words are unnecessary. Your obedience speaks there, your purity thunders, your persistence sends shockwaves. The darkness studies every soul, searching for weakness, for entry points. But when it came to you, it found the walls fortified by surrender. It saw the armor of prayer, the covering of grace, the seal of heaven's ownership. You may not have seen the warfare, but you felt it, the heaviness, the sudden waves of discouragement, the invisible opposition that appeared out of nowhere. Those weren't coincidences. They were confirmations that your name carries authority. You have walked through spiritual battlefields without realizing it. Every night you pressed through anxiety to pray. Every morning you rose when depression tried to anchor you. Every time you forgave instead of retaliating, you were wielding unseen weapons. The victory didn't come from shouting, it came from standing. Your endurance terrified darkness because consistency is its greatest enemy. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. That single truth has been your unseen shield. When everything around you demanded reaction, heaven demanded rest. While you were still, angels moved. While you worshipped, walls crumbled. You learned that silence in the natural can sound like warfare in the spirit. The demonic realm operates through fear, but faith dismantles its power. Your trust in God became your strongest weapon. You were not merely defending yourself, you were advancing heaven's agenda through every act of endurance. When you chose peace instead of panic, you declared, "My God reigns here." When you loved your enemies, you announced, "Light still rules this ground." Those were not small choices, they were divine declarations that shifted spiritual climates. Many times you mistook warfare for failure. You thought you were doing something wrong because opposition increased, but that opposition was proof of promotion. Hell only fights what heaven favors. The greater the resistance, the greater the revelation attached to your name. You have been walking with divine authority, and the darkness has been aware of it even before you were. Remember how the storm rose when Jesus stepped into the boat? That's what happens when light enters territory. The waves don't rage because you are weak. They rage because you are effective. You have carried the presence of God into spaces that were once occupied by despair. The moment you arrived, the atmosphere shifted. The enemy tried to silence your voice because he knew your endurance would awaken others. There are angels assigned to your calling and demons assigned to distract you. But distraction cannot destroy what destiny has designed. You are too deeply rooted in divine purpose now. The whispers of doubt have lost their grip because you've recognized them for what they are: noise, not truth. You've learned to answer darkness not with argument, but with alignment. Every time you stood your ground in faith, the darkness lost ground in dominion. You may never know the full extent of the battles you've already won. The sickness that didn't consume you, the depression that didn't stay, the temptation that didn't win, each was a war fought in the unseen. Heaven's records show victories you don't even remember fighting. You've become a threat not because of what you say, but because of what you carry. And now, as you walk forward, Understand that this authority is not about pride, but about purpose. You've been trained to fight not by anger, but by love. To overcome not by shouting louder, but by standing firmer. Your very existence in obedience releases light into places where others see only darkness. That's why attacks rose against you. They were desperate attempts to silence what cannot be stopped. Demons recognized what you were becoming before you did. They saw the fire forming in your spirit and tried to extinguish it early. But the fire belonged to God. What hell meant for destruction, heaven used for distinction. You carry scars that glow like armor. You walk as a survivor who has become a warrior. You no longer fear the darkness, because it fears the one within you. Chosen one. Never forget this truth. You are known in both realms. Your faith is a sound that heaven celebrates and hell dreads. You don't have to announce your authority. Your endurance already has heaven's applause. Chosen one, it's not the sound of thunder or the clash of angels' wings once. It is quieter, deeper, a vibration that moves through your spirit when heaven declares, "Well done." You may not hear it with your ears, but your soul knows. After the testing, after the silence, after the tears and the unseen battles, heaven now celebrates your perseverance. The test has ended. The crown is being prepared. When heaven applauds, the earth may still misunderstand. People might overlook your growth, mock your process, or doubt your change. But heaven's recognition doesn't need earthly confirmation. You have graduated in the unseen before you are honored in the visible. That is the mystery of divine timing. Reward always starts in spirit before it manifests in life. Heaven's applause is different from human praise. The world claps for performance. Heaven celebrates endurance. The world loves success stories. Heaven honors surrender stories. The applause that now surrounds your name is not because you won every battle flawlessly, but because you never stopped showing up. You fell. You rose. You learned. You trusted again. That rhythm of rising was your worship. The day you thought you failed was the day heaven saw you as faithful. The night you wanted to give up but whispered one last prayer, that was when the sound of heaven's approval echoed the loudest. Angels measure faith not by comfort, but by consistency. You have been consistent in storms. You kept walking when others stopped. You believed when proof disappeared. You passed the test, not by strength, but by surrender. The apostle wrote words that capture this moment perfectly. As it is written in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." You too can speak those words now. The fight was real. The race was long. The tears were countless, but you kept the faith. That is the sound heaven responds to. In the unseen realm, your name is now known as one who endured. There are songs sung about the faithful, and your story is one of them. The angels rejoice not because your journey was easy, but because your heart stayed aligned with heaven's will when it cost everything. The applause you sense in your spirit is heaven's way of saying, you did not run in vain. Now, the divine spotlight turns toward you not to glorify your pain, but to magnify his power. What was hidden is about to be revealed. The same people who once saw you stumble will soon see you soar. The same spaces where you were rejected will witness your restoration. Heaven's applause always precedes earthly manifestation. You may not have realized it, but every moment you said yes to God, the sound of celebration rippled across eternity. Every surrender became a chord in heaven's melody. Your obedience played its note. Your endurance added harmony. And now, that divine symphony has reached its crescendo. Heaven is standing. You are being honored not for perfection, but for perseverance. When heaven applauds, demons fall silent. When heaven celebrates, storms bow. The weight you feel lifting is not coincidence, it's the residue of divine approval. The very air around you begins to shift because spiritual recognition always alters the atmosphere. You are stepping into that moment now, where grace replaces grief and joy replaces heaviness. But heaven's applause is not just a conclusion, it's a commissioning. It means you are ready. Ready for greater assignments. Ready for deeper wisdom. Ready for influence that reflects eternity. You've proven you can carry light without arrogance, that you can handle glory without forgetting humility. You've learned to bow before you rise, to listen before you lead. And now, chosen one, let this truth settle in your heart. Heaven is not silent anymore. You are seen. You are celebrated. You are trusted. The test is over, and you have become testimony. If your spirit feels that confirmation stirring within, type "I receive it" in the comments. Not as a performance, but as a declaration that you hear the sound of heaven's approval over your life. Those 3 words are a covenant, a seal, a moment where your spirit answers heaven's applause with gratitude. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. And now, heaven stands, hands raised not to demand, but to celebrate. You, chosen one, have made it through the fire, and heaven's applause will never fade. New mantles are being released over your life, chosen one. The test did not end with relief. It ended with appointment. What you endured was not for survival. It was for transfer. You were being prepared to carry something heavier, something holier, something eternal. Heaven is now clothing you in fresh authority, the kind that cannot be taken, only trusted. You see, mantles are not given to the loudest or the proudest. They are placed upon the faithful, the ones who carried the cross quietly, who obeyed when no one applauded, who believed when others mocked. Heaven has seen your consistency, your hidden service, your silent prayers, and now the robe of purpose is being draped across your shoulders. You were not forgotten, you were being fitted. This new mantle does not look like glory at first, it looks like responsibility. But in it rests divine weight, wisdom born of pain, compassion shaped by experience, courage refined by trial. You are stepping into the role of one who has been both student and survivor. And now others will see the light that was forged through your struggle. The prophet Elijah once released his cloak to Elisha as a symbol of inheritance. As recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 19. Elijah went up to him and threw his cloak around him. That single act transferred legacy, power, and spiritual responsibility. In that same pattern, heaven now places a mantle upon you, not a physical garment, but a spiritual weight that shifts atmospheres. You are being trusted to carry light into the world's darker corners. Chosen one, mantles are never light, but they fit perfectly when carried with humility. You will feel the difference in your voice, your perception, your spirit. Where you once reacted, you will now respond. Where you once sought approval, you will now release peace. The same words that used to tremble in your mouth will soon carry authority because they flow from a purified heart. As this mantle settles upon you, understand that it is not just for you, it is for those you are called to touch. Every person you meet will feel the residue of your refinement. You will become a mirror reflecting heaven's patience, a vessel of healing in ordinary places. The conversations you once dismissed as small will become divine appointments. You will sense heaven moving through you without effort because you are finally aligned with your design. And I want to speak to you now with gentleness. not command. If this message reaches the deep places of your heart, if you feel the weight of this new mantle stirring inside you, then consider helping keep this flame alive. When you like these words, you are not just clicking, you are lighting another candle in the dark. When you share, you extend the robe of peace to someone still shivering in despair. Subscribe, not as a follower, but as a fellow torchbearer, someone saying, I will walk with the light, and if your spirit feels led, your act of donation becomes like oil poured over a continual flame. It fuels the voice that carries hope to unseen hearts. Every offering, no matter how small, is a seed of compassion that travels further than you know. Think of it this way: a single drop of rain may seem insignificant, but when joined with others, it becomes a river strong enough to carve valleys and give life. You are part of that river. Your presence here is not coincidence, it is cooperation with heaven's flow. What you give, whether attention or support, becomes part of the ongoing story of transformation. You are not just receiving this word, you are becoming its continuation. Heaven entrusted you with this moment because someone else needs what you now carry. The same way Elijah's cloak carried the scent of fire and faith, your life now carries the fragrance of endurance and mercy. When people encounter you, they will feel peace they can't explain, strength they can't name. That's the mantle manifesting. So carry it gently, proudly, humbly. Let it remind you that every pain had purpose, every silence had strategy, every waiting season had weight. The fire did not burn you, it branded you for glory. And now, with this mantle upon your shoulders, heaven whispers, go and light the world. Light the weight of glory now rests upon you. Chosen one. It is not the weight of burden, but of brilliance, the gravity of heaven's presence that settles upon those who have endured the refining. You are carrying something invisible yet undeniable. The atmosphere shifts when you enter because glory has become your garment. What once felt like pain has crystallized into presence. This glory does not sparkle for attention. It glows quietly, like embers that refuse to die even after the fire seems gone. The world calls it resilience, but heaven calls it radiance. Every scar on your heart has become a window through which light escapes. The pressure that almost crushed you has instead made you luminous. You carry proof that divine strength can inhabit fragile vessels. You may feel heavier now, but it is not sorrow, it is significance. The weight of glory is heaven's signature upon your soul. It is the substance of eternity pressing into time. The mark of divine ownership that tells every realm, this one has walked with God. And because of that, the air around you feels different. You don't just live, you emanate. The apostle wrote of this mystery, as found in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. You lived that verse without even realizing it. Every affliction that bruised your spirit was quietly building eternal substance within you. Heaven measures value not in years, but in endurance. Not in applause, but in transformation. Now, the glory you carry will begin to manifest in unexpected ways. Peace will walk before you. Words will flow from your mouth that heal without effort. Your very presence will convict and comfort at the same time. Those who encounter you may not understand why they feel different afterward, but their spirits will know they met someone who has been with the light. Glory does not need to announce itself. It reveals itself in atmosphere. You will notice that chaos cannot linger long around you. Environments that once drained you will begin to shift as your internal peace overrules their noise. That is what it means to carry divine weight. It commands stillness without speech. But carrying glory is not about prestige. It is about responsibility. The heavier the presence, the gentler you must walk. Pride cracks what glory rests upon. Humility becomes your protection. The moment you think the light is yours, it dims. The moment you remember it's His, it multiplies. You have become a carrier of something sacred, and heaven trusts you to guard it well. There will be days when this weight feels too much, when compassion exhausts you, when sensitivity to pain makes you weep for others. That too is part of the glory. To feel deeply is to love divinely. You are not broken, you are open. The same heart that once shattered under pressure now beats with heaven's rhythm, attuned to the cries of those around you. Every great carrier of glory learns balance, when to pour and when to rest, when to speak and when to be silent. You will find that stillness recharges the presence you carry. The secret place will become your sanctuary again and again. There, you'll remember that the glory does not originate from you, it flows through you. Your steps now write invisible sermons. You don't need a stage to reveal light. Your daily walk preaches louder than words. The workplace, the home, the street corner all become altars because glory travels with you. You are not a vessel waiting to be filled. You are a vessel that overflows. Chosen one. This weight of glory is not seasonal. It is eternal. It will remain even when emotions fluctuate, even when others fail to recognize it. You have become a living temple, proof that God's presence can dwell in human fragility. What once broke you has now become the very reason you shine. Walk with reverence, but do not be afraid. The glory is heavy, yes, but it is holy. And as you continue forward, heaven will teach you to carry it with grace, to release it with wisdom, and to rest under it with peace. You are no longer defined by what you lost, but by what you now carry, the weight of glory that testifies to eternity moving within you. The tables are turning. Chosen one. The story that once seemed written in sorrow is now being rewritten in light. What was loss is becoming testimony. What was delay is becoming direction, and what was pain is transforming into power. Heaven is reversing the script. The winds that once blew against you are now at your back, and everything that resisted you will soon become the very thing that releases you. Divine reversals rarely arrive with noise, they unfold quietly, like dawn breaking after a long night. You may not notice it at first, but something has shifted. The heaviness that used to cling to you is lifting. Opportunities that once ignored you are now being drawn to your presence. You are no longer chasing what was lost. Heaven is causing what belongs to you to find its way back. There is divine justice moving on your behalf. You cried in hidden rooms and heaven took record. You waited with patience when others ran ahead, and heaven marked your restraint. Now, the season of restoration has begun, not as a repetition of the old, but as the revelation of the new. What God returns is never what you lost. It's always what you were meant to have. You see, reversals are not random. They are precise. The same way a river turns after meeting a mountain, your circumstances are bending toward divine alignment. Every no that broke your heart will reveal its hidden yes in time. Every rejection that bruised your spirit was a detour into preservation. You thought you were losing time, but God was buying eternity. It is written in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. This is not a poetic promise, it is heaven's legal decree. Every year that felt stolen is being restored in multiplied form. The harvest ahead will outweigh the famine behind. The joy before you will silence the grief behind you. You will testify that God not only restores, He redeems with interest. There are already signs of this turning if you look closely. The same relationships that once fractured are finding healing. The doors that refused to open are now swinging wide with favor. The financial dryness, the emotional drought, the spiritual fatigue, they are all giving way to overflow. The divine clock that seems still is ticking again, right on heaven's schedule. You are entering a season where everything makes sense in reverse. The job you didn't get was protecting you from burnout. The friendship that ended was clearing space for covenant connection. The prayer that seemed unanswered was saving you from disaster. You are realizing that divine delay is not divine denial, it is divine defense. Chosen one, this reversal is not just about blessing, it's about balance. Heaven is setting things right. The weight of injustice that once pressed against you is now being measured against the scales of righteousness. God is not only restoring your joy, but your voice. You will no longer whisper your hope. You will declare it. You will speak from a place of authority, because you've seen both sides of the story, the breaking and the rebuilding. You are standing on holy ground now, the turning point where past pain becomes present power. Everything that once made you weep will one day make you worship. The ashes you carried are being exchanged for beauty. The waiting was worth it. For now you carry perspective that cannot be purchased, wisdom that cannot be taught, and peace that cannot be shaken. In this very moment, heaven is saying, it's time. The things that were withheld are being released. The hands that once closed are now open. The paths that once led to dead ends are being rerouted toward destiny. You are not just recovering, you are reigning. The tables have turned, and your story has shifted from surviving to shining. As a prophetic act, type 999 in the comments. Let it be your agreement with heaven's reversal. That number declares, my cycle of loss is complete, and my season of restoration begins. It is not superstition, it is symbolism. A statement of faith that you believe the turning has begun. Chosen one, everything that once stood against you is about to serve you. The tables have turned and heaven smiles as justice unfolds. You are walking into the season you once prayed for. And this time, it will not slip away. Your voice carries fire now. Chosen one. It is no longer the trembling echo of survival. It is the sound of divine authority forged in endurance. You have walked through the valley, faced the silence, endured the testing, and something eternal has settled in your tone. When you speak now, heaven listens, and darkness takes notice. Your words carry weight because they were born in pain and purified by faith. There was a time when your voice wavered, when you spoke with uncertainty, trying to convince yourself that hope still existed. But those days are gone. You no longer speak from fear, you speak from fire. The same fire that once threatened to consume you has now become your source of strength. Every word that leaves your lips carries the residue of that holy flame. You are not just speaking, you are igniting. The world around you feels it, even if they cannot name it. Conversations shift when you open your mouth, because your words are no longer casual, they are charged. Heaven has infused your voice with power, not to dominate, but to deliver. You were never meant to blend in with the noise. You were meant to release sound waves that cut through confusion and bring clarity where chaos ruled. Your voice has been baptized in tears, washed in silence, and anointed with endurance. That is why it carries authority that cannot be imitated. Those who speak without pain echo. Those who speak from pain transform. You, chosen one, have crossed that line. What flows from your mouth now is no longer mere speech, it is revelation. It was foretold through the prophet Jeremiah, as written in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 20, verse 9. His word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot. That is your condition now. The word within you burns for release. You cannot remain silent because silence would suffocate the mission. The fire has matured inside you and it must find its voice. Do you understand what this means? You are no longer a messenger repeating what others say. You are becoming an oracle, one who speaks from direct encounter. Your words will begin to carry a fragrance that draws the broken, the weary, and the searching. Not because you are eloquent, but because truth now lives in your breath. Each sentence will carry healing wrapped in conviction. Each declaration will awaken something asleep in the souls of others. When you speak encouragement, despair will bend its knee. When you declare peace, turmoil will lose its power. When you whisper faith, hopelessness will begin to tremble. That is the fire working through your voice. It is not volume, but vibration. You are no longer echoing inspiration. You are releasing impartation. This is why the enemy fought so hard to silence you. Every attack against your confidence, every betrayal that made you withdraw, every disappointment that tempted you to stop speaking, those were strategic attempts to mute your fire. But you could not stay silent forever. The word within you grew louder than your pain, and now nothing can restrain it. Your voice is not just for public platforms, it's for private altars. It will heal family conversations, shift the atmosphere in rooms, calm storms in hearts. The power is not in your volume, but in your alignment. You speak from union with heaven now, and the spirit world recognizes that tone. It's the sound of someone who has seen both death and resurrection and still believes. You are entering a season where speaking will feel like breathing. The words will come naturally because they no longer come from your mind, but from your essence. Every time you open your mouth, light travels. You are a torchbearer, a living echo of divine thought. You are what heaven sounds like in human form. And yet, this fire will demand stewardship. You must guard it from bitterness, from pride, from misuse. Fire warms when contained, but destroys when reckless. Your purity of motive will determine how bright your flame burns. Speak truth in love, and your voice will move mountains. Speak from humility, and heaven will amplify you. Chosen one, your voice is no longer yours alone. It belongs to purpose. It belongs to every life your fire will awaken. Use it with reverence, with boldness, and with grace. For the same voice that once cried for help has now become a trumpet of hope, and all of heaven stands ready to echo what you release. The return of joy. Chosen one. It is here, not as fleeting laughter, but as a sacred restoration of the soul. The season of mourning that once defined your nights has finally expired. Heaven has declared an end to the heaviness that clung to you like a second skin. You are stepping into a joy that does not depend on circumstance, a peace that no storm can steal. The clouds are parting, and light is finding its way back into every corner of your being. For too long, you lived with a quiet ache, even when you smiled. The echo of pain followed. The world saw composure, but heaven saw endurance. You carried grief with grace, wore heartbreak like armor, and walked through days that blurred together under the weight of sorrow. But something divine has shifted. Joy, real and rooted, is returning not as noise, but as nourishment. This joy is not the shallow happiness that dances only when life feels easy. It is deeper, quieter, anchored in trust. It flows not from what you have gained, but from who you have become. You learn to praise through pain, to bless through breaking, to love through loss. That endurance has now birthed unshakable joy. You no longer chase it, it now finds you. The Spirit spoke long ago through the writings of David, as recorded in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5. Weeping may endure for a night, But joy comes in the morning. You have lived that truth. The night stretched longer than expected, but dawn has arrived. And when joy returns after darkness, it feels different, it feels eternal. You will notice it in small moments first. In the laughter that comes without warning, in the calm that visits your heart even without answers, in the sudden awareness that you no longer carry the same weight you used to. The heaviness lifts like fog melting in the morning sun. This is not illusion. It is transformation. Heaven has exchanged your sorrow for strength, your mourning for melody. There was a time when you feared you'd never feel light again. You wondered if joy was something meant only for others. Yet all along, joy was never gone, it was buried, waiting for the right season to bloom. Pain pressed it deep into the soil of your spirit. But now, that seed is breaking open. It's growing quietly, beautifully, faithfully. Joy for you will not look like loud celebration. It will look like peace while others panic, gratitude in the middle of uncertainty, and laughter that comes from knowing you survived what once sought to destroy you. You will not need external proof for internal peace. You have found joy in its purest form presence. The presence of God, steady and constant, surrounding you like sunlight you can finally feel again. This joy will also become strength. The weariness that once made simple tasks feel impossible will dissolve. Your body will begin to move differently, lighter, freer. Your spirit will sense that the season of endurance has ended, replaced by the season of renewal. The river that once dried up inside you is flowing again, carrying creativity, clarity, and courage. You are coming back to life, not the same life as before, but a resurrected one. And this joy is contagious. Those who encounter you will feel it radiating from your presence. You won't need to explain it. They will sense it, because true joy speaks without words. It carries the sound of peace that the world cannot counterfeit. Your story will remind others that even the longest night has a morning, and that the God who watched over you through tears is the same one dancing with you now in restoration. But this joy must be guarded. It will invite you to live differently, to rest more deeply, to celebrate small victories, to stay grateful even when things seem uncertain. Joy is not fragile, but it thrives in hearts that remember its source. Keep your focus on heaven, and no storm will be strong enough to steal it again. Chosen one, this is your new rhythm, breathing without heaviness, walking without dread, living without the shadow of yesterday. The dawn has arrived, and it carries your name. You will laugh again, not from relief, but from revelation. You will sing again, not out of duty, but out of delight. The return of joy is heaven's way of saying, you made it through. And as that truth settles in your heart, you'll realize that joy was never lost. It was simply waiting for the right sunrise to reappear. That sunrise is now. Crowned in the aftermath, those words now describe you. Chosen one. You are no longer standing in the ruins of what was lost. You are standing in the garden that grew from them. The same ground that once held your tears now holds your triumph. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You walk differently now, steadier, quieter, stronger. Heaven has placed a crown on your head, not made of gold, but of glory. It's invisible to the world, yet undeniable to the spirit. Your crown was not handed to you. It was forged in the fires you survived. Every scar became a jewel, every tear a shimmer of light reflecting divine mercy. The moments that broke you became the mold heaven used to shape your authority. You are crowned not because you never fell, but because you rose again every single time. The crown is not a trophy, it's testimony. The Word of God reminds us of this mystery. as revealed in the book of James in chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. You have stood that test, and now, heaven fulfills its promise. You are crowned with life itself. This crown is not about recognition or fame. It is about identity. It announces to the unseen realms that you belong to the kingdom, that your loyalty under pressure has been rewarded with divine authority. You carry yourself differently because you wear something sacred now. Not everyone will see it, but every spirit will recognize it. Darkness bows where you walk because it knows the cost of your endurance. Still, this crown is not heavy. It's holy. It does not weigh you down. It lifts you. It reminds you that your life is now a message that glory follows grief, that resurrection follows ruin. The same hands that allowed you to break are the hands that now adorn you with beauty. The ashes have turned to jewels, the pain to purpose. You have become a living prophecy of restoration. And now, as you stand in this moment of victory, I want to speak to your heart gently. If this message has touched you, if it has reminded you of who you truly are beneath the scars, let's continue to spread this light together. When you like this message, it's not a gesture of approval, it's a candle lit in gratitude. It tells the world, hope still works. When you share, it's not about numbers, it's about extending the table. Somewhere, someone is sitting in their ashes right now, thinking the story is over, and your share becomes the hand that lifts them, the whisper that says, you'll be crowned too. Each share turns into a seed that travels beyond borders, beyond algorithms, landing in the hearts that need it most. When you subscribe, you are not just following a voice, you are joining a movement. You are saying, I want to walk with others who have been through the fire and still shine. You're connecting your story to a chorus of other survivors who have found strength in surrender. Together, we become a tapestry of redemption, each thread unique, yet all woven by grace. And if your spirit feels led to donate, think of it not as giving, but as sowing. Every seed you plant becomes a spark that keeps the flame burning for someone else. It helps this voice continue to reach the broken, the weary, the almost lost, like rain falling on a parched garden. Your generosity revives what despair tried to kill. It's not about the amount, it's about the heart behind it. Your crown carries responsibility. The responsibility to reflect light, to multiply hope, to remind others that glory always has a cost, but the reward is eternal. You are now a living invitation for others to believe again. Every word you speak, every act of kindness you release, every moment you choose grace over bitterness, it all polishes your crown brighter. Chosen one, wear it humbly, wear it daily, not as a symbol of superiority, but as a declaration that God restores. You were once covered in ashes, but now heaven calls you radiant. Your story is no longer one of survival, it's one of sovereignty, the sovereignty of grace that reigns over pain. So stand tall, walk softly, shine boldly, and as you do, let the world see the reflection of the one who crowned you in the aftermath. The assignment of the tested ones begins here. Chosen one, you have not endured all that pain, silence, and fire merely for yourself. Heaven never refines someone this deeply without a divine purpose on the other side. Everything you survived has equipped you to become a guide for those still walking through their own wilderness. Your scars are not shame, they are maps. They show others where the traps are hidden and where mercy still flows. You are now a carrier of direction. The same storms that nearly drowned you have taught you how to navigate turbulent waters. You can now recognize the signs of despair in another's eyes because you once stared into that same abyss. You have learned heaven's language of compassion, the ability to see the hurting not as problems to solve, but as souls to lift. That is your new assignment, to comfort with the same comfort you received when no one else understood. The Apostle Paul once wrote these sacred words, as recorded in the second letter to the Corinthians. Chapter 1, verse 4. He comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort God has given us. This verse now beats like a pulse inside your spirit. You have been comforted, so you can now become comfort. You are the continuation of the mercy that once found you. You will notice how effortlessly people begin to open their hearts around you. They won't know why, but something about your presence disarms their fear. It's because they can sense that you carry understanding, not judgment. You don't need to preach. Your eyes already tell the story that pain can be survived and still produce beauty. You are living proof that endurance is not futile. Your words will begin to act as medicine. What once was your wound will now become your wisdom. You will speak from a place of authenticity that cannot be imitated because it has been lived. People will come to you for encouragement, and what they will receive is not advice, it's atmosphere. The peace that lives inside you will begin to spill into rooms, silencing panic, steadying hearts, reviving faith. But understand this, the assignment is not to rescue everyone, it is to remind them. You are not the savior, you are the signpost pointing toward Him. The tested ones walk beside others, not above them. They extend hands, not halos. You know now that transformation doesn't happen by force, it happens by example. You became light not by trying to shine, but by surrendering to the one who lit you. There will be moments when your compassion feels heavy, when you absorb too much of others' sorrow. When that happens, return to the source. The same presence that healed you will refill you. You cannot pour from emptiness. You must remain connected to the well of grace. Your empathy is sacred, but your rest is too. The tested ones learn to balance the two, to love deeply, yet lean daily on heaven for renewal. And remember, not everyone will understand your mission. Some will mistake your gentleness for weakness, your compassion for naivety. But you no longer need validation. The fire already approved you. You carry heaven's signature, and that is enough. Keep serving quietly, walking steadily, speaking truth with tenderness. You are planting seeds that will bloom in seasons you may never see. There will also be those who resist your light, for not everyone is ready to confront their shadows. Do not take their rejection personally. Even Jesus was misunderstood by the very ones He came to heal. Your job is not to convince, it's to continue. Keep shining, keep sowing, keep loving. Heaven handles the rest. And when you grow weary, remember this: the tested ones are never truly alone. Heaven surrounds you with others who carry similar fire, hidden warriors scattered across the earth. You will find them not by searching, but by resonance. Your spirits will recognize one another like stars aligning in the night sky. Together you form a constellation of endurance, guiding the lost toward dawn. Chosen one, your test was never punishment, it was preparation. And your testimony is now your tool. Speak life into dry places. Stand as proof that faith still works. And let your very existence remind the world that survival is not the end. It's the beginning of service. The assignment of the tested ones is love, and love is exactly what you have become. The final seal of approval has been placed upon you. Chosen one. Heaven has finished its assessment, and the verdict is clear: you are faithful, tested, and approved. What began as fire has ended as refinement. You are no longer merely a believer, you are a bearer. You carry the imprint of heaven upon your spirit, a mark that cannot be erased by doubt or circumstance. The journey was long, the battles fierce, but your endurance has become eternal evidence of grace fulfilled. There is a quiet authority in those who have been tested. They do not boast, they breathe differently. You have become one of them. You no longer strive to prove your faith, it now speaks for itself. The silence that once terrified you has become your sanctuary. The storms that once shook you have become your teachers. You have emerged not empty-handed, but carrying revelation that only the tested can understand. The prophet Isaiah once declared this eternal truth, as written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 10. Behold, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. Those words are no longer history, they are your autobiography. You have lived that refinement. You have stood inside the furnace, and instead of being consumed, you were clarified. Everything unnecessary was burned away, leaving only what was eternal. And now, heaven sets its seal upon you. This seal is invisible to human eyes, yet every realm recognizes it. It announces, "This one belongs to me." It carries authority that moves mountains and silences storms. It cannot be earned, stolen, or broken. It is granted only to those who have endured what you have endured, those who remained faithful when everything around them fell apart. This approval is not a certificate of perfection. It is heaven's acknowledgement of persistence. God never required flawlessness from you, only faithfulness. And that, chosen one, you have given, through tears and confusion, through loneliness and fear. You stayed. That staying power became your covenant. It was written in your endurance, unsealed in your surrender, and now confirmed in your spirit. You have crossed from testing into trust. Heaven now entrusts you with assignments that could not be given before. Authority follows approval. You will walk into spaces where your words unlock healing and your presence shifts atmospheres. Not because of charisma, but because of character. The seal marks you as one who can be trusted with both blessing and burden, with both visibility and vulnerability. In time, you will begin to see how everything connects. The fragments of your past will align like pieces of a mosaic. What once looked like brokenness will now reveal divine design. Every unanswered question will find its explanation in peace. Heaven's timing, though slow to human eyes, was perfect. You were not delayed, you were developed. The waiting was not wasted. It was weaving your strength into the tapestry of eternity. The final seal also carries responsibility. The approved are not called to rest in comfort, but to lead with compassion. You have been through enough to recognize real pain in others. When you see someone stumbling through their own fire, remember your own furnace. Extend mercy before judgment. Speak softly where the world shouts harshly. The seal you carry is not for display, it's for service. There will still be challenges, but they will not shake you as before. You now know the rhythm of divine faithfulness. You've seen how God turns ashes into armor, how He hides power inside pain. You walk differently because you no longer question whether He is with you. You simply trust that He is. That unshakable certainty is the mark of the approved. Chosen one, you have become a living covenant, a visible testimony of invisible grace. Heaven has written your name among the faithful. You have joined the lineage of those who conquered not by force, but by faith. You are not at the end of your journey. You are standing at the doorway of divine purpose, fully awakened, fully alive. The testing season is complete, but the mission continues. You are now commissioned as a torchbearer for your generation. Carry the flame with humility. Let the mark upon you remind you daily that you are proof of redemption, evidence that grace not only saves, it transforms. Heaven has spoken, the seal is set, you are chosen, tested, and eternally approved. Walk forward in peace, for all of heaven stands behind you. Beloved chosen one, if these words have met you where your heart needed them most, then let this moment be more than reading. Let it be response. Every time you like this message, it becomes a spark that keeps this fire alive for another wandering soul. When you share it, you are sending out a torch in the dark, lighting the path for someone who still doesn't know that their story isn't over. Leave a comment, write what resonated with you, or simply whisper it in digital ink. Your words might be the echo that steadies another trembling heart. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and stay close to this flow of divine reminder. It's not about following a page, it's about walking together those who have been tested, proven, and crowned. Your engagement isn't just reaction, it's participation in something sacred. Each click, each share, each word you write becomes another flame in a circle of light stretching across the world. Together, we remind heaven and earth that faith still lives, that chosen ones still rise, and that love steady, pure, and unbreakable still wins. You are part of this light now. Keep it shining.